All right, let's get into the PFF preview. And again, we covered this first screen pretty extensively yesterday. We're just going to spend a split second on it. The line, obviously, it opened up at, let's see, where did it open? It opened at 14.5. It moved to 14. Then it came back to 14.5 and went back to 14. So you can see it's kind of hovering around those two numbers. It is back up to 14. It looks like it's changed 1, 2, 3, 4, roughly 5 times since the line opened. So it looks like it's settled in right now at 14 points. And just so you guys know, if there's people that are not big gamblers that are listening to this, all this means is the initial line that dropped, right? That's how Vegas seen this game. And then the money that pours in after that, the public kind of dictates which direction the line moves in. I like to focus on the overall money as opposed to the bet percentage. And the reason being is the big money, the sharp money, is typically more telling in that percentage of the overall money, which 59% of the money is on the Bengals plus 14. All right. Now, when you go to the money line itself, which means winning outright, you'll see 80% of the money is on the Packers in that regard, with 95% of the bets being on the Packers. So what I typically like to do is take that percentage and find a good happy medium in between the bet percentage of the money line and the percentage of the money overall. So I would put this closer to an 85% type thing here. So again, any given Sunday, anything can happen, right? But let's go to the lineups here. And let's start on offense and let's go against their nickel. Okay, so let's see how we can attack this defense here, guys. Let's go through the Packers grades real quick, just across the entire board. Starting on the offensive line from left to right, Rasheed Walker, 57. Aaron Banks, 38, albeit minimal snaps. We know he's been injured all year long. He hasn't been healthy yet. Hopefully this is the first game we'll see him healthy. Elton Jenkins, a 59. He's the 27th highest graded center right now. Right guard, they're showing Sean Ryan at a 53.5. I've been pretty vocal. I would love to see Kennard out there starting. And then Zach Tom, if he does return, his grade is a 59.5, albeit, he's been banged up, and that's minimal snaps there as well. So that's how the offensive line shakes out. When you go to their defensive front, Trey Hendrickson, 86.5, the 11th highest graded edge defender. Then you've got Osai, I guess is how you say it, or Osai, 50.4. BJ Hill, 60.1. And then the opposite side, they've got Shamar Stewart listed as the starter here, although he's had minimal snaps, 69.6 as a rookie. So let's go around the horn with that and start there. Tim, what do you think about our offensive line against their defensive front?
Well, Shamar Stewart was just on that injury report, right? Dealing with an ankle injury or something like that.
So is Hill.
Yeah.
Yep. So these guys are banged up, whether they're going to go or not. They're not going to be 100%. Obviously, your main concern is Trey Hendrickson, right? And I don't know how much they move him, how much he moves around on that line, if he would switch sides if necessary or anything like that. But Rasheed Walker is going to have his hands full against Hendrickson, and I think that's right. When I look at our line, I'm looking at the left side of that line, and that's my initial reaction. I think though, if we can stick to a decent game plan where we try to balance the run and the pass, and we can get the ball out quick, much like you were saying Dallas did to us, in that overtime thriller. I think we'll be okay. But Hendrickson is one of those guys that, if you're not careful, he's gonna get his. So that's my initial concern. I'm with you too. I'd like to see maybe them shake some things up with the starters here on this O-line, depending on how everyone is injury wise, going into this weekend.
Yeah, outside of Hendrickson here, Jacob, it feels like this could be a get-right game for the offensive line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm still a little nervous and gun-shy because I feel like when we played teams like the Browns, when we knew, quote unquote, hey, we just got to focus on Myles Garrett, got to take away Myles Garrett. It feels like that we almost overcorrected to the point where we only focused on Myles Garrett and the rest of the guys ended up eating. And we talked about how BJ Hill and Stewart are on that injury list. Well, so was Tom, Banks, Walker, and a few others from the offensive line. So I'm a little more worried that we're just not going to be up to snuff as far as being healthy and ready to go. But that being said, I think that on paper, when you look at this for sure, you got to take care of Hendrickson, and the rest of them are kind of, I don't want to say that they're gimmies or anything like that. Like you said, this game is screaming trap game completely. It really is for a whole bunch of different reasons. And I just don't want us to fall victim to trying to think that we got it in the bag before we go out there and put it on the field.
Let's get out there and establish a run game for once this year.
Yes,
run the damn ball, keep it on the ground, commit to it.
I got to stay off Twitter, Tim, because when I see he's not aggressive enough, I'm going, God, can we please just stick with the run for 2 seconds here? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Let's establish the run. And don't get it twisted, guys. This defensive line, this defense for Cincinnati is nothing like Cleveland. Nothing like Cleveland.
Yep.
Cleveland is a dominant defense. They are solid. I think they're the number one rush defense in the entire league right now. And obviously Dallas's run defense wasn't that bad either. They were 7th going into that game, and we were able to run the ball pretty effectively. If you can neutralize Hendrickson here, I think this might be a Josh Jacobs game. I don't know what his over-under is, Jacob, but that's one I would look at him and maybe Emmanuel Wilson as those might be 2 guys to have a ball game against this for sure. So,
yep.
And when you look at their linebackers, since we're talking running game, well, first of all, Josh Jacobs, some people think he's having a down year. He's the 10th highest graded running back in the league at a 76.1. And then Jordan Love at 82.6. We kind of talked about him already. And their linebacking core out of their nickel, they got Knott Jr. and Wilson. Knott Jr. 46, Wilson 56. What do you got, Jacob?
Yeah, no, just Josh Jacobs over under right now is 79.5 rushing yards. Jordan Love's 7.5 rushing yards.
Overs. Smash the overs.
I would hammer the over for Love for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me, Tim, about taking the over for Josh Jacobs is if this does go as most people are predicting it to go and you get up to an early lead, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they start to get into the backfield a little bit and get Chris Brooks some carries, get Emmanuel Wilson a little more carries. I could see that, but then again, you might find yourself in a damn dogfight like it's been the last few weeks, you know? So
absolutely.
Yeah. I'd definitely take the over on Love, like Jen Wright's saying there too, for sure. So when you look at the linebackers, right, and how weak those are, Tucker Kraft, this kind of feels like a big game for Tucker. And you said, what was it, roughly 45?
43.5 at the moment.
43.5 yards. I feel pretty good about taking that over right there, boys, because this is a bad pass defense. And again, you look, safeties are the strong point. You got Geno Stone back there. I think that's who it is, Geno Stone. Let me see. Yeah, Geno Stone. So Geno Stone is grading out a 66.1. Battle is grading out a 66. And you think those aren't great grades, Clayton? Right. Look at the corners. Taylor Britt, 55. Hill, 63. And then Turner, 60. So
the safeties are working overtime, backing up those corners, man. Holy cow!
What's Love's over under, Jacob, for passing yards? Any idea there?
I believe it was 239.5.
Okay, I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
It might go back to what I was just telling Tim though. If you got a big lead, maybe you just press into the run and go that route, but. Other than that, I would feel pretty good about taking the over there with Love for sure. When you look at our receivers now, they're grading out right now. Dobbs is a 63.1, Golden's a 60.9, and Dontavion Wicks is a 64.5. Again, we'll see if Christian plays. I don't know, man. To me, it just feels like this might not be the week, but we'll see how that shakes out as well. What's Savion's over under?
They don't have that listed yet. The only 3 receivers they have is Dobbs at 40.5. Tucker at 43.5 and Golden at 46.5. Usually as they get closer to the game, they'll start throwing out a little more obscure players that don't, have a lot
Matthew
of snaps.
Golden could hit that over on one snap.
I know, dude.
And as you say that, Tim, I'm sitting there thinking that seemed a little low for Dob. I could see Dobby having a, blowing that out of the water too. So it'll be interesting, man, for sure. Anything else you guys want to hit on in terms of the Packers offense against the Bengals defense here? You got anything else?
Yeah, did I mention establish the damn run?
The only thing I was going to say is I want to see more Emmanuel Wilson. I feel like every time we give this guy the ball, he gets us 5 yards, no matter what. And sometimes it's more like 8 or 9 or 10. And I'd like to see a little more sugar, a little more lightning and thunder, a little shake and bake, if you will.
Little Ricky Bobby.
Yeah.
What's do you have an over under for Josh Jacobs receiving yards, Jacob?
They don't have Josh Jacobs receiving yards at the moment.
Got it. That's when it kind of feels like with them having a bad pass defense, maybe they'll play off. They'll kind of play everything conservative, and you could just dink and dunk like you did against the Cowboys underneath. That could be the case there as well. So, all right. I like this right here. Jen Wright. Golden gets his leap this week. That's what I need to see. I need to see Golden up in the crowd. Man. Yeah. All right. So there you go. There's your Packers offense against the Bengals defense. I guess we could take one quick look at 12 versus base. Let's do that. Musgrave's up to a 59.6 now. And then obviously when they go to their 4-3 base, you get Oren Burks in there, boys. 66.
Here's a guy.
So, yeah, that's who's going to be stepping in as their Sam backer in their base 4-3. I'd like to see us just press into 11 personnel a little bit, keep things spread out. We did it in the second half last week, and things really opened up. Don't get too cute with the condensed sets and the 12 and 13 personnel. Let's open things up and spread the defense out. Everybody's going to be worried about Jordan Love. Jordan Love's off to a fast start, so I would like to see them spread things out and run the rock.